Welcome to part 9 of the USS Voyager build. We've now got the fantail and the warp nacelles all put together, and everything's all lighting up quite nicely. So that's what she's starting to look like. It doesn't look like too much at the moment though. We've got the lights in the back there for the rear windows that do come down this end of the ship. We really need them there to help backlighting, because if you've only got the lighting in the engineering hull, it doesn't really spread that well to the back end of the ship around this area, and the lighting will tend to fade off. So by putting the lights in there, that will actually help keep a good consistency to the lighting of the ship. But it's not looking too bad. I've managed to get the wires down to just two main groups really. One for the anti-collision lights that are at the back there, and then also another grouping of wires there for all of the other lights that run the ship. So we've got the Pazard scoops, the chiller grills, the navigation lights on both of the nacelles, and then the navigation lights that are in the hull there, and also the satellites up here, and also the lights that power the impulse engines as well. So that's quite good that we've managed to resolve that down to just two sets of wires there. So what I'll do is I'll get this thing turned on. Obviously the only lights that won't go on this at the moment will be the anti-collision lights. They're running on a separate circuit. So if we get this switched on, there you go. So this is what it's looking like from the back end. So you can see we've got a good view of the engines there at the exhaust ports there for the engines. And then we've also got the port and starboard side navigation lights on the top and the bottom, and we've also got the rear cabin lights in there as well. And then if we turn that around, we've got the nacelles there, the chiller grills that are lighting up quite nicely. And then if we go around to the front there, you'll see we've got the Pazard scoops at the front, and then we've got those lights that light up the back end there. And then hopefully, I'll just cover that up a second, you should be able to see the impulse engine just there as well, and it's the same on that side there. So she's starting to pull together quite nicely now. I'll just give you a shot of that in the dark. So there you go, that's what the nacelles are looking like in the dark there. So they're looking quite good. They're giving away just about the right amount of brightness, which is great. Obviously those will be covered up. So you can see there the impulse engines, and then if we turn it around so you can see those from the back end. So that's what they're looking like from the back, and there's that window up there. So it's starting to come along quite nicely. All I need to do now is just get this integrated into the rear of the ship. This part, but what I need to do first is I just need to get the lights in place around these areas for the lighting. I also need to get the deflector dish in, but I do need to paint that first before I can get that in. And once all that's done, I'll then be able to get the fantail section in and get everything wired up. And that'll be about it for that part, and then we'll be able to move on to the saucer section and get that wired up. But let me show you the saucer section, the deflector array. So that's what the deflector array is looking like. As you can see in there, we've got some very thin masking tape in between all of the ribs, because the raised ribs do need to be painted a different colour. So we've put that masking tape in there just to help mask those, so we can do that. That's 0.4mm masking tape I've been using in between those ribs, and that's just about the right size as well to get into those tiny gaps. So that's quite cool. So I just need to get that painted. Once that's painted, as I say, I'll be able to get that into the engineering hull, and then we'll be able to start getting that buttoned up. So as soon as I've got some more work done to that area of the ship, I will come back to you. Made some more progress on the engineering section of the ship. We got 2 strips of 9 LEDs inside the hull there. One running down each side just to help the light bounce around the windows on each side. We've also got a small SMD that's been buried in there now for the anti-collision light. We've also got 6 LEDs in the front there behind this bulkhead for the deflector array. There will be another strip of 3 mounted on the bottom section of the lower saucer section, and they'll be mounted about there, and they will then naturally just fall into that gap at the top, and then that will then give me complete even lighting around the inside of there. Depending on how strong that light is, or whether it gives me any hot spots, I might need to put some diffusion material in there, but I'm not sure. But the deflector array housing itself, that's going to be painted, so we're only going to have 0.4mm ribs that are going to show the light through. And it's only that middle bit there as well, so we're not really going to get too much blue light coming through there, so hopefully then there isn't going to be any hot spots, but we'll soon find out once that's in. If that is the case, then I can just drop some diffusion material in there to help with that. But what I'll do is I'll get this turned on for you so you can see what it's looking like a little bit. As I say, this is still a bit temporary. There we go, that's that connected. So that's what that's looking like. Obviously we're getting quite a bit of a washout there on those SMDs. That won't happen once everything's in place. And then again with the front there, that's also being washed out quite badly. But to me that's at the moment a fairly steady, nice blue glow. And then at the bottom we've also got the anti-collision light in place there. Again, that's just going to be hooked up to the flasher board. So that's about as far as we are at the moment. She's not looking too bad. I'll just see if we can turn the lights out for you and see if we can get a bit of a shot of the side in the dark, even though the lights are still not really fixed in place properly. But you can start to see the kind of effect that we're going to have on this. So it should hopefully start to look pretty good once all of once the top's in and it allows the light to start bouncing around. That should actually start to look pretty good. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And as soon as I've got some more work done, I will come back to you. Made some more progress on the kit. Been doing a bit of work to the fantail section of the ship. And we've had to put the Shuttlebay in. And I'm not sure whether you're going to see the rubbish detail that's supplied with the kit there. But, you know, that's pretty pants, really. But we've had to put the Shuttlebay in to get the rear bulkhead in and keep it in place along with the Shuttlebay doors. So that's in now. I've also been working on the details on the front section of the fantail. And as you can see there, we've got that side done and that side. The wires are attacking the camera. Quick, get out. we've got the little bits of plastic in place on both sides, and I've also put the putty around those, and I'm now just waiting for those to dry. Once they're dry, I'll be able to then start going back in and smoothing those down. So it's still looking a bit pants at the moment, but you know, hopefully once it's had a couple of goes of the sutty, I've just invented a new word for putty sanding. It's called suttying. So phone up Collins Dictionary, you heard it here first. So I just need to go around and do the putty sanding on those, and then just get them into shape, and then more than likely need to give them another go after that to just bring them up to where we need them to be. But that's starting to look pretty good. We've also got the deflector in place, the deflector array. The dish still needs to go in there. That has been painted, almost. It's had the main colour put on there. I just need to get the lighter colours on there, on a few of the bits on that. So that's almost finished. But if we give the torch a quick run round on the inside of there, hopefully you should be able to see the kind of effect that we're going to be getting from those ribs. So hopefully that should look okay once that's all lit up. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to need to put a strip of plastic in there to help diffuse the light or not. I just have to have a look closer to the time when it's close to being buttoned up. That's about the only time that I'm really going to be able to tell, really, because I do have the lights on top of the saucer section as well for that. I've also been working on the saucer section as well. So we've got the lights in place at the bottom. We've got the navigation light there. We've got 2 strips of 6 lighting that will light up all the forward section and the middle bits. We've also got 2 strips of 6 LEDs in the back, which will help light up all the back section. We've also got the port side nav light, and also the starboard side nav light in place, as well as the anti-collision light there. So that's starting to look good. The only things I got left to do really on this section now is to put the anti-collision, the navigation lights in. One needs to go in just there, and then we've also got another one that needs to go in just there. I've had to remove the glass, sorry, not the glass, the plastic and the photo etch part from there, because the floodlight was actually causing light to leak through the plastic window. So it's actually making it a lot brighter than what it should have been. So I've had to go in and light block that a bit, but because I couldn't really get in there too much, what I've decided to do is on the window itself, on the middle strip, I've decided to, that's where the light leak was coming through, so I've decided to start light blocking that particular strip there to help prevent the light coming through. Basically that middle window was way brighter than what it should have been, and that's, as I say, because the light was just transmitting straight through that plastic. So it just needs another couple of coats of black paint on that to help block the light, but that's nearly there, and I'll be able to get that glued back in. Once I've got all the bits finished up on the tail end, I'll be able to get that assembled to the main engineering hole, and we'll be almost there for the wiring, which is quite shocking. I'm quite surprised how quickly this part is going, even though this is the part that I really hate the most. So once I've made some more progress on this, I will come back to you. Now I've got the last bit of work done to the fantail. As you can see there, we've got the puttying around the edges of the parts that I've added. So that's starting to take shape now, and that's looking quite good. So all I need to do now really is get this put into the rear of the engineering hull. Just get that slotted in there. I've just installed the SMDs there for the torpedo launchers at the front, so I just need to wait until they've actually dried in place properly, and then I'm just going to need to put a dab of glue over the top of those, the canopy glue, wait for that to dry, and then I'm going to need to light block those so the light doesn't come bouncing back in again, because we don't want the red coming in the top there to form a kind of a purple colour. So I just need to wait for that to do. But once they're dried and I've got the glue in place, there's nothing stopping me from actually getting the back end put in. So as soon as I got that done, I will come back to you. Got some success now. We've got the two of the first major sub-assemblies put together. So we've got the tail section with the nacelles all put together onto the engineering hull. So I'm kind of really happy with the way that that's turning out. As you can see there as well, we got some good light coming through from the navigation lights. You can see the red glow coming through from those really easily, even without anything in there to help sort of throw that light out. So that's absolutely fantastic. We've also got the front sorted out temporarily, but I thought I'd give you a little show. I've temporarily put the deflector in there. That's not actually glued in, that's just placed in. Again, that's Revell's engineering for you. Everything's got a nice tight tolerance to it, so that's actually staying in there just on its own. Obviously I will glue that in, but you can actually see what that's gonna look like once it's all completely finished. If we just get the camera to zoom in a little bit more, you can actually see the definitions of the lines coming through on that now, which is what I was hoping for. So I'm happy with that. That's looking really good. And you can see Snake Plissken in the background there, still keeping an eye on proceedings. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way that that's turning out. Let me just give you a quick look at this in the dark, seeing as it's nice and dark at the moment. So let's get those lights off. There we go. So that is being washed out slightly in the dark, but if you just pull in a little bit closer like so, you can still see the definition of all the ribs that we've got in there, which is great. So I'm still not sure at the moment whether I do need to put the light diffusion in there or not, but we'll soon find out. And then if we just sort of give you a look at the sides there, you can hopefully see the just there we've got the impulse intake, and then we got the two Bassard scoops there, and a little light leak at the front as well that'll disappear soon enough. And then if we go to the side, we've got the warp engine, the warp nacelle, should I say, sorry, in place there, and you can start to see all the little lights underneath it as well coming through, which is great. And then we've got all of the windows there for all the little rooms and stuff. So I'm really happy with the way that that's looking. I'll just get the lights turned back on. So the only thing I've got left to do now really is just tidy up all the wiring, get the rear anti-collision lights connected to the anti-collision light at the bottom of the ship. Once that's all done, I'll then be able to get the upper and lower saucer section together with all the lights in, and then get that put on top of that, get everything connected up, get the board in for the anti-collision lights so they flash at a nice steady rate, and then we'll be buttoned up. Just a little bit of puttying to do, and then it'll be onto some painting. So you know, we're getting there. One thing I will talk about, and a little bit of product placement, is this stuff. Been meaning to get this for absolutely ages. I've used it once before on my bathroom cabinet that was a steel one. The interior shelf in that fell off, and that was due to the spot welding that they'd used. And I just went in with some Gorilla super glue on that, and that was about 6 years ago, and the damn thing still hasn't fallen off. So I decided in the end to get some of this stuff. I know Chris Cortell uses this and wouldn't use anything else, but I got a pretty good bargain with this online. It's a 15-gram pot, and I got 6 of these for £19.99 with free postage. And I've now, as a result, been able to repair my little clamp, because that is that glue, the Gorilla super glue, is strong enough to actually hold that in place for forever. In fact, that would most probably be stronger than a weld, I don't know. But the stuff that I was using before is this. Now don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic glue. It's not as strong as the Gorilla glue, but it is still a fantastic glue. The biggest problem I have with this is the fact that you get 3 grams of this stuff, and any shop that you buy it in, the cheapest that you'll find this is £3. So that works out at £1 per gram. So if I was to buy these pots to get the equivalent amount of the Gorilla glue, I'll be looking at spending £90. So by buying the Gorilla glue there, I've just saved myself a whole whopping £70. So as I say, nothing wrong with the Loctite super glue, because it is really good, but the Gorilla super glue is just that little bit better. Anyway, that's enough of the product placement. I'm going to call it quits on this video, because I know it's starting to get a little bit long now. So I'm just going to carry on. I'll get all the little bits and pieces done that I need to this to get it ready to get the saucer section in place. Once I'm at that point, I will come back to you in the next video, which would be update 10, I believe. So until then, thanks for watching, and please do take care.